On this episode of the Gardens of Heffronia, how to turn some thrift store goodies into a really cool piece of garden art. This is my Erdapfel. Erdapfel means earth apple, which is appropriate since it's in my garden. The word Erdapfel was created by Martin Bayham, the man who made the first globe in the world back in 1492, the year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Here's how I did it. Look out, world. I'm in a wacky, crazy, creative kind of a mood today. A couple weeks ago, I went to the Renninger's antique garden decor event in Mount Dora, Florida with my wife and my cousin and his wife, and we had just a wonderful time wandering around. And I picked up a couple things, and then I picked up a couple of more things at some thrift stores, and today is the day, I think, I'm going to try and put something interesting together here. What to do. The possibilities are endless. This is the object that caught my attention at Renninger's. I was looking for something to be a focal point in one of my garden areas. I'm creating a garden area near a greenhouse. It's going to be an azalea and a bromeliad bed specifically, but I needed a focal point, some kind of a structure, some kind of a piece of ornamentation. At the store, at the event, I saw a very large, my gosh, the thing had to be 7 feet tall, large version of something very much like this, except it had a solid ball on it. This stand I bought because the price was right. And it had just had a standard half-round planter in it. And then I saw this ball at another booth at this event, and I thought, oh my gosh, that just goes together so well. I also found this little tabletop. It does expand in size. It has some interesting feet. So it could get taller, it could get shorter. It's an interesting little table. When I bought this little table, this was sitting on top of it. To me, this looks like galvanized steel, and it looks like maybe somebody painted? I don't know. I don't know what exactly this is, but this is kind of interesting. They've sealed up the seams. I don't think that's solder, I think that's paint. But they did an interesting job with this. And when I saw it, and of course the price was right, I thought, you know, what if I were to take this and have it sitting on there? Oh my gosh. Now I have something, it's standing about my height, so 5'10". It's roughly 6 feet tall. That's pretty solid on there. This has actually been sitting in my garden just like this for the last couple weeks. We've had some pretty good winds, and it just kind of sits there. But then what to do with the ball? Plus, don't forget, I have this other stuff too. Well, there's all kinds of possibilities here because this ball opens up. What is it for? I don't know, but it opens up. So my initial thought was, could this be some kind of a gazing globe? It has holes in it, so gazing globe, I just don't know. Could I put a light in it? Yeah, I could probably put a light in it. That would be kind of interesting. And then I thought to myself, you know, I have this artificial turf. I I created a place in the back gardens for my little dog Chewy, who was all crippled up, and he needed a place to go. So my thought is to take this artificial grass and kind of do that with it, which I think would give this a really interesting appearance. I know when I tried to fold the larger piece into here, it's not globe shaped. It's a big square flat piece of this stuff, and I'd have to do some trimming, and I don't know if I can get it easily. I mean, I'm really mushing this in here. I'm holding it in pretty tight. I don't know if I can get it to stay there, so we'll see. Then at one point I set this ball, I just meant to sit it down for a minute, and I set it down inside this contraption, and oh my gosh, suddenly a whole new world of ideas popped up into my brain. And this reminds me of a floor globe. I have a wonderful floor globe inside the house, and this thing just entered into a whole new series of possibilities. Now it's kind of short. It's kind of short sitting in there. I'd have to figure out some kind of a way to prop that up a little bit. You know, prop it up more like this. But now, oh my gosh, the ideas are running. Oh my gosh, the brainstorming is just going crazy. I had this nautical theme. This was actually a mirror. There was a mirror inside this piece that this was hanging on the wall in my classroom, and it broke. The mirror broke. So this has just kind of been sitting around for a while. It's brass. Oh my gosh, can I use this somehow? Alright, so now if I were to set this down in here, can you imagine that aging into with a nice patina to it? And if I were to paint this to look like the Earth, I might really, this is getting interesting. Alright, so as I'm working through this concept, here's what I have. I needed something to hold the ring, to hold the globe, and I came up with these. I had these little brackets. Now these are what normally holds a truck topper to the truck. I don't have a use for such a thing, so this works just fine. If I do that, I could have a small one of these sitting on here. I like that. My globe sitting on there. I kind of like that. And then I just happen to have, because I collect weird things, this brass globe. Paid $5 at an antique store. So here's my thought. The Earth and the moon. So the moon's up here. The Earth is down there. That's option one. The alignment's not right because it should be, realistically, it should be out here. By the way, size-wise, so you get an idea of the size here. I've been holding it closer so it looks bigger, but it's actually about this size. That's option one. Option two, and I kind of like this one better because it's simpler. If I remove the hook, I have enough room to put a much larger brass ring in here. And then the globe sits in there down in a little bit better. So my thought is, paint the globe blue. And then I have a brass planter I was going to cut up into the shape of the continents and secure it to the globe. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so this has now been painted. It has several coats of primer, several coats of paint, and a coat of, or actually 2 coats of sealer. And this is what we have. I think this is going to be the end configuration, because I really like how the brass just kind of sits down there. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to paint these gold. I'm going to paint these gold. I'm going to paint maybe this whole thing gold. I guess we'll wait and see. And then for the continents, I picked up this guy at the Goodwill. What did I pay? $5 for it. And I think what I can do is I can just take my tin snips and cut out the shapes of the continents and put them on there. My initial idea here is to use some of this here stuff. This is what I used on the penny ball fountain, and the pennies after 3 years are still stuck to it, so I know it'll adhere quite well. So on to the next phase. Alright, so I decided less is more. I think this gives just enough extra oomph, a little extra polish to the project. I toyed around with the idea of actually gilding this with some gold leaf, and then quickly realized my abilities are not up to that challenge. So I have a bunch of these, so I decided to try this. Next step is to seal these gold areas again, and then start tackling the continents. And that's where we are right now. Here's the finished product. My my earth apple. This turned out really, really nice. This just turned out spectacular. By the way, this is not going to be its final location. This is the approximate location. I need to create a new planting bed in front of this location for it. I will have to make a video about that. Until next time, the Gardens of Heffronia.